Let's see. We are live. Look at that. Look at that. Oh my gosh. I am so excited right now. It's been a fast morning. Welcome everyone. If you're tuning in, even if you aren't, it is what it is. Hopefully you're getting settled. It's Friday. We're
It's
just
Friday.
excited. Gosh, Tim, I'm so excited to talk to you. So I already did it, but I'm going to do it again. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it, Tiffany. Thank you so much.
Seriously, this is a big deal. As you may know, and for our watchers, our viewers, Imagiread is in the midst of becoming a ed tech company. Culturally responsive literacy development is a big deal. We need to bridge this gap, and we need to do it a lot more effectively for our learners. And so, in the midst of that, I've been having a lot of siloed conversations about what digital literacy and futuristic literacy is. And it's been interesting because some people are familiar with Afrofuturism and some people aren't. So we're going to dig into all of that today. And we're going to talk about the role of futuristic literacy, Afrofuturism, comics, differentiated learning, experiential learning. We're going to talk about all of that with the one and only Tim Fielder of Dieselfunk. I love that name, by the way.
I'm the one and only? Oh, no. By the way, I'm not the one and only. I have an identical twin brother.
Do you? His name isn't Tim, though.
No, his name is Jim.
Jim and Tim? Are you serious?
In fact, it's not Tim. It's Jimmy and Timmy.
Are you serious? So mom and dad actually named you guys Jimmy and Timmy?
Hey, crack wasn't in existence back in the 60s, but something was up. But that's the name they gave me, so that's the name I'm sticking with. I'm Tim Fielder. How you doing? Thank you for having me here today, Tiffany. I appreciate it.
Okay, that's what we're doing today. I'm loving it. Okay. So is Jim, is he with you? Like, did he migrate as well? Did he move as well?
He did, but he's now, as we were just discussing a few minutes ago, COVID. I mean, there was always this great migration that's been going on for the last 15, 20 years.
Sure.
In the U.S. with Black folks who had migrated from the Great Migration in the early 20th century. That's now going in reverse.
It is.
Whereas like Atlanta is no longer just Chocolate City. It's Chocolate City with like nougat and stuff, you know.
Yeah.
It's like Chocolate City. Yeah, chocolate.
It's chocolate.
It's Chocolate Chunk City is what it is, right?
Right.
And so what's happening is COVID exacerbated that. So he's part of that crew that he retired. He left Brooklyn and now lives. We have a studio called Studio Visceral.
Okay.
And we got film projects going, and he's left teaching, and we're full-time filmmakers in addition to me being a graphic novelist and all the other stuff. So he's a mile and a half from where they shoot the Avengers. Crazy, right?
What?
Hey, I'm waiting for Black Panther to show up any moment now.
Me and my 10-year-old were just talking about it. Like, okay,
it's crazy, right?
No, seriously. Wow. So, okay. So you got to give some more background, some context. We were just talking about it offline,
Sure.
But what are the chances that we would come together in the way we did? First and foremost, let's go back from there. Okay. So a lot of people don't know what Bsam is, and they don't know what Afrofuturism is. And I was asked by a brother, we did this diversity in comics virtual experience. It was right after AfroCon, one of those. And we showed up. I showed up. I was the only chick there, and I felt like the only chick there. You know, because it's like, oh, your comic love it can't touch ours. And I'm like, but brothers, like, but I love comics. Anywho, the brother asked, straight out the gate, he said, explain to me what Bsam is. And it's difficult because I've explained it to the best of my ability, but I want your input. If someone asked you that, like, what would you give them?
Okay, I'll try to keep it really, really simple for those folks who are not in the know. So Black speculative arts, it's simply the word speculative is just simply the process of projecting things that are fictional. It's the process of projecting or fabricating or creating things that are fictional or touching on it or looking at it, right? Or manufacturing concepts
Right.
around things that are fictional.
Gotcha.
But because we're Black and we have to deal with this racist world, we're also having to embed the reality of being people of color in this society.
I
So
love
we're
that.
taking those two concepts, reality or Black reality and fiction, right? That
Yep.
can be project ahead. And because we're Afrofuturists, we have to also project behind, right? You
Yep.
got to fill in those missing DNA points.
Totally.
Because those things are fused together, right? When you output arts, that's why we call it Black speculative arts. And this is the world, not the US, not North America, not South America. It's the
Right.
world has components of Black speculative arts. Now, Afrofuturism,
Yeah.
which
Come
I've
on.
been an Afrofuturist since I was about 12, 13. I'm
Mhm.
55 now. I'm getting old. See? No more hair. That comes from years of fine tuning of the male pattern baldness, right? But but so Afrofuturism is a concept that and I should say with the Black speculative arts movement, that concept was founded by Dr. Ronaldo Anderson and John Jennings,
Yes.
two good friends, and
Yes.
they put that concept together, and now it is a worldwide movement.
It
As
is
there
phenomenal.
are stations all over,
The globe.
which is kind of
It
scary.
is.
Like, man, this thing started at Harris Stowe University a few years ago in a student center. There was like
Yeah.
20 people there. Now it's this worldwide movement, which is crazy.
It
But
is.
Afrofuturism, the term was coined by a friend, Mark Derry, who is a cultural critic. And people say, well, what does that mean? I'm going to keep it simple.
Okay.
For me, it means Black people in spaceships.
Gotcha.
You're taking science fiction and you're putting it together with Black culture.
Yeah.
That's it. That's what Afrofuturism is to me. Some people, more people, I've had to expand my variant of what I think Afrofuturism is, because there are people who think much more deeply about this stuff. They're like,
Yeah, totally.
it's a way of life, and it's the how you dress. It's a mental thing. For me, I'm like, I want to see some brothers and sisters in spaceships. Can't we just keep it simple, right? But all of these different variants are Afrofuturism.
They are.
It's like the Met show just opened up down the street. I'm on 100th Street, right down the street.
Oh, nice.
At the Met, they got the big Met show they just put up, which is the Afrofuturist room, and
Wow.
they have jewelers, they have sculptors, they have comic book artists, they have painters, filmmakers, all in this contained space, and it shows that the tent of Afrofuturism is very large. Does that make sense what I'm saying?
Oh, totally. It does. It does.
And so that's what Afrofuturism is. But keep it simple: Black people in spaceships.
So then what's your take on, because I love how we just are breaking this down, we're getting granular. What's your take on Afrofuturism? Because that we're talking about interchange and wordplay, and that's my thing. So Afrofuturism extends to be a little bit more, from my understanding, is a little bit more authentic, because we are talking about the diaspora, and it African as opposed to Afro.
Right. Yeah. So I'm familiar with all of it. There's also African futurism.
Right.
So you got different variants of it. I'm going to say this, and I need people to hear me when I say this.
Yeah.
I'm not the expert on this.
Yeah.
And if everything goes as planned, this stuff will outlive all of us.
Totally.
Hopefully. Hopefully. Hip hop is an English word. We're using English. We didn't create the English language.
Yeah.
Right. What we as Black people do, what we specialize in?
Yeah.
We take other people's stuff and we turn into what we want it to be.
I agree.
That's what we do.
Yeah.
We've always done that. So Afrofuturism. Yes, I know some people. Well, it was founded by a white guy, and I talk with Mark. He's a nice guy. He ain't doing no Afrofuturism. He just coined the word.
Yeah.
We're doing
Give it to him.
Afrofuturism.
Yeah.
We took his word. That's what we did. We took it, and we're doing what we want. You and I are having this conversation because we took it.
Totally.
What I actually like about him, he not trying to take it back. He got out of the way.
Yeah.
Which is what you're supposed to do.
I agree.
When you realize you have created something that's bigger than you.
Right. And paying the homage. Totally. And this is again, just to remind everyone, this is why this conversation is so important, because we're on the cusp of developing a culturally responsive literacy development. When we're talking about literacy, language, and communications, and the intersectionalities of how we are sometimes bound to a language that is not natural, that is not ours. And sometimes, more often than not, again, through that Black experience, especially being a speculative, can make us feel as if we don't belong. But we have to learn how to grasp it and manipulate it for our own intents and purposes.
All right. Part of being Black in this world is you're constantly grasping.
Totally. Adaptation.
We go out the front door, don't know if we're going to make it to the block without being shot, arrested, our kids shot because they went to get some Skittles. Our women go out on the street. I was talking with my friend the other day. I'm a Black man.
Yeah.
Black women go out on the street every day and are catcalled.
Yeah.
From the moment they hit the street to the moment they get back in the door. My wife has to deal with it all the time.
Yep.
And I'm like, I don't have to deal with that.
Yeah, you don't.
Being objectified from the moment you go out the front door.
Yeah. Well,
by
really,
other Black people.
Mm-hmm.
And
it's like, look, thank you for saying people, because it's not just men.
Well, okay, but hey, we got a big tent here, right? We got a big tent. So what I'm trying to say is that we have to decide which hill are we going to die on. Which battle is worth fighting. I
agree.
We need to, don't worry about the term. If the term is dope, cool.
Rock with it.
On to the next.
Yes,
what we got the next is, what are your projects, babies?
Right.
I got this book out here. Infinitum. Yeah. I'm sorry, I can't move my camera up, right?
Yeah.
I got where my other mainstream Afrofuturist graphic novels. I need them.
Yeah.
It can't just be 5. We need 5,000.
I agree.
Where are your projects?
Right.
We need you to finish writing. We need you to finish drawing, painting, singing. That's what we need.
And not to be hung up on the semantics. Absolutely.
There are bigger battles to fight. I get it. I get it. Wouldn't it be pure if we had coined the phrase and we could just go, there's no time for that.
I agree.
The only time there is we need you to be finishing your projects.
Right. Period. And this speaks to the literacy, the space of literacy and creativity, innovation, right? How free we feel to do that, right?
Well, I already did what we need to do. We took the phrase on to the next. We took it.
I agree.
We won that. Yeah. We took it. They can't take it back.
Yep. That's what we need to do. Okay, so thank you for clearing that up, because a lot of people, again, don't understand when I'm in these spaces, and I'm in the spaces with others that don't look like me, and I'm explaining certain concepts and how our children learn, and my proof of concept and so forth, more so my proof of value. And it's through this lens, and it's difficult for them to see, and it's difficult for some of our own to see. Like, well, I don't get that. It's like Afrofuturism. So thank you.
We're learning.
We are, and that's what we're here to do.
It ain't the end of the world. It's not the end of the world. Nobody's gonna die. We good. Just finish your work. We good.
So let's talk about that. Let's talk about the integrity of the work and being a part of Bsam. Let's talk about the integrity of the work.
Yeah.
Even in the space that we just moved through, right? And semantics and being interested in things that it's like, does that really have anything to do with the work? When we're talking about creative and being innovative, this conversation has also been hovering. about how creatives need to be in control of their work and they need to feel good about the work that they're producing. What have you seen, and in your own experience, and you can talk about, other experience, what have you seen in terms of this authentic creative process and allowing you to like really explore through Afrofuturism, if you will, or through Bsam, if you will?
All right. So first of all, let me thank you for asking that question. That's rarely asked because most of the time it's like a poppy thing. Well, hey, you did infinitum. What did you go through?
No.
You did, and that's good. That's good. I'll answer those questions. I'll do it every time.
Yeah.
But what you're putting is you're talking about the paradox.
Totally.
The paradox of what it means to be a content creator that is intermixed with being an Afrofuturist.
Right.
Now I'll give my standard answer and then we'll go a little bit deeper after I finish that. First thing is, when you're an Afrofuturist, you cannot operate as a regular futurist.
Right.
There are think tanks all over the world. I know I've done some training with them where they train futurists to use concepts like horizon scanning and projections, and you're either working with visuals, pie charts, and you're trying to project what will happen in 10 years, 20 years, 50 years, 100 years, based on things like climate change, AI, technology in general, social mores, gender equality, gender inequality, economic inequality. But as an Afrofuturist, because so much of our past has been burnt down,
totally
erased,
totally
co-opted, or just totally wasn't allowed to.
Yeah,
it didn't even allow. It was stillborn.
Right.
As an Afrofuturist, you don't have the convenience of just projecting forward.
You don't.
You have to project behind too.
And it's all simultaneous because you're present.
And it sucks. It sucks. But guess what? Nobody cares. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. So that is the paradox. And trust me, I know, as I say, I'm bald. I use my skull shaver today to shave it down a little bit, to make it look a little even, right? But what it is that we're anthropologists.
Right. All day.
We're anthropologists. Okay, so you're an educator and you're doing your educational element. Yeah, but you can't just look forward. You have to look forward, but you got to fill in the blanks behind you and intermix that with the facts.
Yeah.
And the only way to do that is through speculation, informed speculation.
I love that for so many reasons, because one of the reasons why our children, those who struggle and are reluctant to read well, is because they lack prior knowledge.
I like prior knowledge.
Yeah. Well, but this is in terms of it being, contextualized.
Yes.
From the past, right? It's like, well, wait a minute. You've been giving me these stories about what happened, and they don't reflect who I am. They portray me in this, my people in this very, dismal state. It's like, I don't have any prior knowledge because I can't see myself. And we know that there's no problem that can't be answered with without knowledge of self answers all. So if you have no prior knowledge, no prior context, then what are we talking about here? So I love that.
So when the demographics change, which they already are,
totally,
right? They start demonizing critical race theory.
Oh, all day.
And you can't blame them.
Yeah, you can't.
Well, think about it. You watch zombie movies?
I hate zombie movies.
Why?
You know what?
It's the idea of this other that wants to eat you, and they outnumber you.
Yeah.
And the best zombie movie, that's why I can't watch zombie movies.
Me neither.
Right? It's always about when the zombies break the perimeter.
Yeah.
And they come into the safety zone and they start eating us.
Wakanda forever.
Right?
All day.
But the problem is not ours.
Yeah.
We zombies.
All day.
We're doing good. I'm
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
I'm good. I got my book out here. I got that one out. This one right here about to come out again. We talk about that. I'm good. You good. We're having a talk on StreamYard. We don't have to go to a broadcast network. Do we just get out? We're good.
Right.
We're good. It's the other folks
who
have a problem, and I get it.
I do too.
Totally get it. It's frightening because you are raised to feel that you are the absolute center of the universe.
Right.
But the demographics aren't leaning that way. And this is just 2021. Imagine what will happen in 2031.
I agree.
2041.
Yeah.
And guess what? You can't stop that. That's not being stopped.
Yeah.
It's not being stopped. So all I can say to that is, how you doing today, Tiffany?
I am well. I am well.
Because we're doing good. I'm good.
Agree. I agree.
Good. I know you and I won't see the end result of this, but my children will.
Our children will. Absolutely.
So all I got to do is make sure I go back to, again, I finish my work.
Period.
Have you finished your work? Have you finished your work so that these people, and when I say these people, these youngsters who are better than us,
much better,
can have a foundation to jump off.
Yeah, totally.
That's what I love about Afrofuturism, is that it's got this base of scholarly exchange, intellectual exchange before the commerce part hit.
I agree. And that's really, when we talk about currency as a cultural communications consultant, we talk about this all the time in the work, right? We have got to affirm our own currency.
Yeah.
Right. And our currency is very much, relational, if you will. It's very much intellectual. It's very much creative. It's not fiat.
This is what I used to get really depressed when I was like, oh God, things aren't moving fast enough. All right. It's like, relax.
Yeah, for real.
Relax. Agitate where needed, but relax.
Totally. Yeah.
Relax. This is a long game. This is not something that'll be resolved in a year or two. This is going to take 50 years, 100 years, 200 years. Life is finite. Totally. Unlike my book, which says, infinitum. It's not.
Yeah.
That's a fictional story. That's speculative. Life is finite, but humans live on.
They do. In spirit and in truth.
We are electrical life forms.
Totally. And these are the concepts that are illustrated in conversation and the artwork. When we finish our work, when we do it as authentic as possible, because everyone will have a different perspective, as you should.
Can I speak to that very quickly?
Please.
So, because my memory ain't so good anymore. But because I totally deviated from your question there a little bit. That when I'm talking about that paradox, it's like I could have done Infinitum as some kind of very sketchy black and white book, which is great. I love black and white work. Yeah. I'm a cartoonist, so I come from that tradition, even though I suck at that part of it. But I wanted to do the book as this fully rendered painting. Nice. So let's take, for example, you, Tiffany.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at the camera here, and I'm noticing that the light is hitting on the right side of your face, right?
Mm-hmm.
But your skin tone and complexion is holding the light a certain way.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So I'm having to, because I come from a family of filmmakers, because my entire life I'm having to approach the way I would do a character based on the reference of what I'm looking at, what I'm seeing you is based upon how Black physiology processes light.
Gotcha. Which makes sense.
The dilemma is it hurts like hell to do that.
I'm sure it's a long,
It's hard.
Tedious. Yeah.
It's tedious.
Mm-hmm.
It's tedious. And I could have done it where it wasn't. I could have just banged it out, boom, bam, boom. It's all right, it's out the door. Hey, done it. On to the next project.
Yeah.
But for now, Eventually I'm gonna get around to doing something quick
Yeah.
that don't hurt as much.
Yeah.
But for these projects, I wanted you, like with Maddies Rocket, I wanted you to do something where you felt like the world was hyper real.
Mm-hmm.
That you just didn't have to buy into it narratively. You could also buy into it visually.
Yeah.
With Infinitum, I wanted you to see the dirt on the skin. The story had to be dope now. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
Right? I'm
Yeah.
not one of those proponents. Well, as long as the story is great, the visuals don't have to be, whatever. No. How about we do both?
Yeah.
Why? Because we deserve it.
I agree.
And that is the challenge. When you're talking about that integrity and maintaining that focus, it's almost like building up a callus.
Mm-hmm.
When you're lifting weights. Of course, you can see here I don't lift enough weights. But the point is, we have those contradictions in our lives. Don't worry, I'm working on it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But with the work, it's like I'd rather have 5 to 10 quality graphic novels than 100 mediocre graphic novels.
I agree.
And who's to say what's good or mediocre?
Mm-hmm.
Because interpretation is totally open. I'm talking about for my standard of being a fan of, let's see if there, there's a few Mobius. I said, shift there. Mobius, Juan Jimenez. I'm influenced by a lot of European band designated artists. Mobius, Inky Bilal, those guys. I want my work to look like that, featuring people of color.
Right.
Featuring women that look like you.
Yeah.
In
yeah.
spaces.
Yeah. Let's talk about Maddie, because that's like the perfect segue.
Yep.
Let's talk about Maddie. It was when Dr. Anderson was like, Tiff, pick from these artists, like really let's move into getting you back familiar, because I spent the last 2 years working hard. Mm-hmm. My day job, if you will. And now it's time for yeah. So it's like, let's get back into this. And of all the artists, I immediately zoomed in on Maddie.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
do you know why?
Maddie.
Do you know why?
I'm sure I do, but tell me.
What was done for you?
Yeah, all day.
The thing is, I answer this question a bit, and so sometimes I'm like, well, is it bad to repeat the same thing? Well, not if it's right.
Yeah, for real.
So, Black women, Maddies Rocket, just for you guys who are know, and it will be out during the upcoming Afrofuturism Festival, Carnegie Hall. It'll be a reissue of book 1 with new pages. Oh Lord, help me on that. And there are other big news coming, really big news, but I'm sworn to secrecy. I got to keep it to myself now. But Maddies Rocket, from all indications, will be present during the Carnegie Hall Afrofuturism Festival.
Nice.
Now,
that's a huge event, by the way.
As I said, I don't have much hair left.
Yeah,
I got
huge.
10 different things happening during that event, and we only have 3 months left, so it is absolutely insane. But anyway, I'll get to that in a minute. So Maddies Rocket is a retro Afrofuturist tale told in an alternative 30s, 40s, 50s past. Mm-hmm. Right? Mm-hmm. Where the world of Buck Rogers, Flash Gordon, Fritz Lang's Metropolis intersects with Jim Crow life. Right? So take the cast of Stormy Weather, right? Mm-hmm. And airdrop them in the middle of Buck Rogers.
Right.
Because when you see Metropolis, you never see people of color.
Right. Totally.
Beautiful film, influential film, totally controlled and influenced the way I work and the way I draw, but there were no Black people in it.
Yeah.
So Maddies Rocket is what was happening with those folks, stylistically.
Yeah.
Main character, Maddie Waddy, named after my great-grandmother, is about a woman who wants to have her own interstellar shipping company, right? Loosely based on the world of Bessie Coleman, who was the first, or one of the first female pilots. And I wanted to do that to pay homage to her, put in a little bit of Harriet Tubman and a whole lot of Lena Horne, right?
Yeah. Wow.
So, but that's what it was on the surface. At its core, so I'm from Mississippi. And so what happens is there still remains, but for that time, which you're talking about Jim Crow, But after Reconstruction,
Mm-hmm.
you're talking about a category of Black women that were oftentimes the center core of their families. They took care of their families both financially, right?
Yep.
You know, like my mother raised white people. She did.
All day.
Because she would be in the home and help. That's what happened, right?
Totally.
She sent her children to college off of that.
Yeah.
So it's that category of women who navigated that kind of environment while raising their kids, oftentimes being the spiritual and cultural center and foundation of their families. And they did it while being elegant.
Can we talk about that?
Necessarily wouldn't hesitate to either pull out a verbal or physical switchblade on you.
Yeah, for real. For real. Can we talk about that? Can we talk about that a little bit more? Because here's the other, value that I deeply believe in is a strong sense of spiritual community.
Right.
And I believe every child, every community should have it. But when we're talking about spiritual, that grounding, that rooted, to do so gracefully, as you just said, is very important.
Y'all do it all the time. It's kind of, because the Black brothers, man, we have our difficulties. We try, but sometimes we fall into the macho. Hey, don't put your head on your head like that. Don't do that. I just admitted that we tried. I didn't say we didn't try. I'm just saying y'all just tend to be better at that than us.
And here's the thing: all we really truly, and when we're talking about the acknowledgement, because my husband and I, we argue, we talk about this very passionately.
You have heated conversations about it.
Yeah, absolutely. This isn't about, and when we're talking about as a philosopher, this isn't about right or wrong. You alluded to that a little bit ago. That's not what this is about.
Right.
This is about calling it what it is. And acknowledging and respecting that you do things very well that I don't care. I don't want to do that.
I'll do that.
But here we are talking about the balance and how important that is to our legacy. Just give me my props, man.
Okay, so Maddies Rocket specifically is designed to pay homage to those women in my life.
Yeah.
That did that. That's the first thing.
Phenomenal.
The second thing is my parents, both in their 80s now. My dad's 87. My mom's going to be 83 in a few months. These people were born in the 30s, but they never saw themselves in speculative content.
Totally.
My job as an Afrofuturist is to create a retro Afrofuturist story that creates a book that looks like a hybrid between the film and the comic that was never done.
Yeah.
In the 30s and 40s. That's what my job is.
Yeah, totally.
And that's, there are other, like, that's why, come on, young Afrofuturists, come on, I'm getting old. Y'all have to make me look bad, shame me, say, yeah, man, that stuff ain't good. And then y'all show me how it's supposed to be done. I am welcoming that. Yeah. We need that. Show us that, okay, we got about 3 to 5 years of having the stage, and then y'all knock us off the stage.
They're coming. Dr. Anderson said something the other day that I was very impressed with. Yeah. And we know from the millennial space, they've been challenging us for some time.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, we're not doing that the way y'all did that. That was
sometimes very disrespectful about it.
Oh, yeah. And they don't care. And honestly, in terms of being bold, we want them to do that. The only thing is, don't miss the wisdom, baby. Don't miss the wisdom.
Well, now here's the paradox of that. It's what I used to tell my students, and I've said this before. I would tell my film students when I was teaching storyboarding in New York Film Academy. I said, it's unfortunate for you guys in one sense. They're like, well, what do you mean, Mr. Fielder? What do you mean? I'm like, you guys are the first generation that in the past, prior to the streaming content wars that we're now in the middle of, that's just becoming more extreme. You guys are the first generation that has to deal with a generation that was ahead of you that would have been put out to pasture. My career will be over now.
Yep.
Oh, he's in his 50s. What does he know about? Yeah, but now they need all that content.
Yep.
They need it bad. So, and people say, well, what are you talking about? Streaming content? I'm talking about all
of it.
Content.
Yep.
Words, sounds, visuals, still images, moving images, art, dance, fashion. Those things are content.
They are.
And so I don't want to lose my train of thought here. The problem is that, or the challenge is that you have to, sorry, losing my train of thought here. I just want to be able to make sure, let me segue into this.
Yeah.
It is very, very important that we understand that these things work in intervals.
They do.
They was iterative.
Yes, iterative. Mm-hmm.
We're all just a part of a bigger process.
Absolutely.
And as long as we understand that, we good.
And that's the wisdom, right? It's not to say again, okay, so y'all made some mistakes and this is happening. Yeah, it's as a collective, and we're talking about the microcosm and the macrocosm. It's relative.
And I want to eat too.
I know, right?
I'm back. So I want to eat too. So if you ain't coming with it, I'm gonna take your lunch money. What I challenge you to do is to take my lunch money.
Lunch money, totally. And this is intellect.
Yeah.
Intellect. This is how we grow intellect. So I love that. So let's go back to Maddie, because I'm still like, I mean, when you pop Lena Horne in there, I'm like, yo, that's what's up. So can you show Maddie real quick? I know.
Okay, so I'm just gonna show this, but can we do a screen share?
Absolutely, you surely can.
Just do this here. So this is Maddies Rocket. There it is.
Oh my God!
This is the book that was published, and you know, that's it. I can't show you too much of it. Let me do that right there. Right.
I can't wait to get my copy.
And there are combinations where, so you see the way that looked.
Yes.
The way this was, the idea was that I wanted to pay a homage to Stormy Weather, Buck Rogers, Flash Gordon, those serials, badly colored TBS. Remember they used to colorize black and white movies? I used to love that stuff. I know people are like, what are you talking about? Those movies, I used to love that stuff because they would take the Wizard of Oz. Well, the Wizard of Oz was already in color, but they would take black and white movies and they color them. Ted Turner used to do that. Yeah. Like, who's Ted Turner, right? He's the guy who created CNN, guys. But
TNT, all of that. Yeah.
Yes. So I wanted to do something that appeared to be of that time and place.
Yeah.
But narratively, I had something together, but I wanted to make sure that the visual and the narrative work together. Now, is it possible for me to share my screen?
It is. You should be able to click, like you're in the studio, you should be able to click share.
Oh, I see share. Share.
So
I'm going to share my screen. Now, guys, what I'm showing you, that not too many people have seen this because it only got done last night.
Okay.
All right.
I'm excited.
Share. It's easiest with two monitors. I don't know what this means. We ain't going to worry about that. I don't want to see the tips again. All right, we're going here. All right, here we go. And I'm showing this. It's share system audio. I don't know what that means. We're going to choose that. There we go. And share. All right, you guys can see my screen, right?
Let's see.
All right, let's go.
Yes. Wow.
All right. That was weird, right?
That was weird.
Right.
But that was pretty cool. Okay, look at that.
All right, check it out.
Nice.
All right, watch what I'm about to do here. All right, I want to hit P here. That's actually Maddies Rocket right there.
Wow.
So you might ask, why am I showing you guys this? I'm showing you guys this is because as an artist, I had to grow beyond just working in 2D, and I had to also work in 3D.
Yeah.
So I've been doing 3D modeling now for about 25 years. I'm a teacher and instructor of it. And so part of what I do as an artist is I use and employ digital arts techniques so that I can create my models. This is from the update for Maddies Rocket Book 1, right? That'll be coming out. I'm literally trying to finish up these new pages in the next few days.
Mm-hmm.
And what this is, there will be wires to connect these shipping containers, because keep in mind, Maddie has an interstellar shipping company.
Right.
Right. So here you can see where she pilots the ship there, right?
Nice.
That is what is going on. Now, part of this here, notice this. Check it out. Check it out. You ready?
Yeah.
Watch the landing gear pop up. Ha ha! That's hot, right?
Ooh.
Right? So I'm gonna stop sharing now.
Okay.
So I'm showing you this to demonstrate to you. Let's see. Are we back? Okay, good. Learning new technology hurts. Here's the problem. Nobody cares.
Yeah, for real.
Nobody cares. Nobody cares
It's
how
a
much.
learning curve with everything. Yeah.
Yeah, nobody cares.
Yeah.
And if you're trying to innovate and to do the best work you can within a relatively timely enough fashion, maybe to be, young enough to enjoy some of the spoils of the work, learn technology to both expedite, enhance, and entrance your projects.
Yeah.
With
Totally.
the public.
Totally.
And I wanted you guys to see that, to let you know that I'm a painter. I started as a traditional painter, right? Cartoonist. But in the late 90s, I moved to digital 2D. And then in the 2000s, I moved to 3D. Now I do all of it together. I'm using a game engine.
Right.
Don't be afraid of that technology. And I'm 55, youngsters.
Yeah.
If I can learn it, that means the other old folks can learn it too.
No,
so that
for
means
real.
that if y'all learning it and we're learning it, we're all on the same playing field. So you better hurry up, because I'm coming to take your lunch money.
This is such a timely conversation. Last night I was talking to my cousin. Mm-hmm. She, my older two children and her son, I'm constantly talking about tech. Now my 10-year-old, he already know what you coding today. What you doing today. He is, with Minecraft, Roblox, with gaming, Discord, and so forth. He's already entrenched in that environment.
Sure.
But in terms of pivoting it and saying, okay, we're not solely consumers, we're producers.
You have to be a content creator,
right? Totally. So my oldest, though, that's the first thing they say, but I don't know how. Yeah, so what? None of us knew how. You can't break it. You got to play with it.
Can I make this comment on that?
Please.
All right. Not just for young artists, any artists. Well, I want to protect people who did what I did, which was teach for years.
Right.
You can learn anything.
Yeah.
On YouTube.
All day.
Anything.
No.
How do you bind a book? There are hundreds, if not thousands, of videos on how you bind a book.
Seriously.
Both manually, with middle tier devices, with big in-house devices, and how big studios do it.
Yeah.
Binding a book.
Right.
Saddle stitch, you got glue, square bound.
Perfect
you got
bound.
With the little taper, little strand of cloth. They got all that in there. You can learn anything. You can learn how to do animation. You can learn how to do stuff that I would have killed for at 20.
Well, and a part of it is, here's the thing, and this is the reason why we advocate for literacy development, right? Mm-hmm. A lot of this conversation is deeply rooted in a lack of purpose, right? What I find more often than not when I'm teaching is some of our children don't really, again, they can't see themselves. They can't see themselves having something to contribute with, beyond their phone. Right. It's the card catalog conversation that I typically have with, my colleagues. It's, well, we had the library. So we actually had steps involved if we wanted to find information. Whereas now you can, just like you said, just ask Google to show you videos about how to bind a book. But they don't even think that broadly in that sense. Sometimes, not all the time. Mm-hmm. And so this is where individuals like you and I, Dr. Anderson, everybody in Bsam, have to be the example. This is what I did. All I did was ask YouTube, and have a plan, formulate a plan to get to where I am now. They need help with that.
I hope to be able to do, because I don't think you wanted me telling them how to do it, because that's not my area. That's your area.
Absolutely.
But you know what I mean? If you want me to lead them in the wrong direction, sure, I'm great.
No.
But if you want, I can show them what it looks like.
Totally. Which you have.
Right. Well, but there's still more work to do. A lot
agree.
More work to do, in both the still image and the moving image.
Yeah.
It's important that we understand. It's something my late therapist used to say, because I've been therapized.
Ooh, that's what's up.
But she used to say to me when we first were really talking, she would say to me, man, these people, they have the internet, they don't read.
Yeah.
And I would say, that's not true.
Yeah.
She's like, yes, it is. I'm like, no, it's not. I said, excuse me. The internet is 80% these days. At the time, it was 90. It is 90% text.
Right.
Right?
Right.
I'm like, there is more reading going on ever than at any point in human history.
Yeah.
A deluge of reading.
Right.
I said, now without question, there is a boatload of misunderstanding and bad grammar, for sure. For sure. But I'm like, the opportunity to be able to disseminate and to showcase what it is we do in our information is right there in front of us. I've never felt more optimistic for my own life and for the lives of my children and the lives of our community and the world. Yeah, things are scary. You know, sometimes you feel like you get set back, like, hey, life is long, baby.
No,
life
for real.
long. You know what I mean?
We've seen this in different variations before.
But we're doing it in the middle of Star Trek.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
We're doing it in the middle of Star. People are like, what do you mean? I'm like, only thing we don't have now are teleportations, devices, and faster than light spaceships.
Well,
that's it. Everything else is pretty much Star Trek.
Think about what we're talking about on a grander level, right? Maddies Rocket. This is reality, although it seems to be speculative.
Right. Well, the best speculative work is that work that kind of blends reality into it. It comes almost hyper real. It's something my late godmother used to say. She said, Timmy, you can do whatever story you want, but make sure you embed within that story something that is familiar.
Yeah.
The audience can grab onto it. If you do that, they will buy into anything you do.
It's again the reflection, right? I need to see myself. Exactly. All good teachers. I am loving this conversation. It's hard to believe that we're 48 minutes in. So,
okay,
tell us what. Well,
go ahead.
Look, I'm like, I don't want to spoil it. Tell us what Maddie would do right now if she lived in 2021.
Okay, so that's actually a very interesting question. So the story jumps around in time.
Okay,
because Maddie's really a YA book.
Yeah.
It's a YA book masquerading as a middle grade book and an adult book at the same time.
Yeah.
Featuring no decapitation. Infinitum, people's heads be lopping off their shoulders and everything. It's like ultraviolet. It's like, look,
you like that's for adults only.
I want to do a book for grown folk, right?
Yeah.
Maddie is not that. Maddie is It's a Wonderful Life, stormy weather, it's fun, it's light. It gets a little heavy where needed, but Maddie's always going to win out.
Yeah, totally.
So the idea is that, but I wanted to show that within a context. You remember that movie, the biography or autobiography of Jane Pittman?
I do.
It showed all these different stages of her life. I wanted to show a Black woman experience that. So when I'm showing her different points in her life. And because it's my book, I can do whatever I want to with it. I love the idea of jumping around to show what she's like as an older woman. One of the strangest critiques or compliments I ever got from Maddie when I first opened it up in 2015, I was just selling the first floppy years ago. And I was in San Francisco at the Black Comic Arts Festival. And this white woman came to me. She definitely was middle-aged. And she looked at me and she said, oh my God, thank you. And I went, oh, well, you're welcome.
Right.
You know, I'm thinking, well, what for?
What I do?
And she says, here is a book that features a middle-aged woman and she's not sexualized.
Yeah. Man.
And I thought to myself, yeah, because that would be a little weird because I was doing this for my grandmother. But I didn't say that out loud. But the thing is, that's what I want. I wanted this character to be a character that lives as a woman, girl next door for sure, but because of who she is as a Black female, she's always having to innovate and pioneer in a fictional world,
Right.
that's influenced by the real world. She's having to innovate constantly just to survive and excel.
Totally.
That's what Maddie would do. That's my dream, to be able to show that and to move this character out. I think the Carnegie Hall Festival will be very exciting in that
I
regard.
do too. I do
Uh,
too.
Infinitum will be there. My management at Herbalt Media is working on the Apollo live reading of Infinitum in front of an orchestra with actors. It's going to be weird with all the artwork shown in the main room. Black Metropolis, my one-man show, which has been up twice at New York Gallatin Galleries, Hammond's House in Atlanta. Now it'll be at the Children's Art Carnival in New York City for 2 months, 8 weeks of nothing but Tim Fielder with all of my work over the course of my career.
Wow.
Black Metropolis, the live-action documentary directed by my twin brother Jimmy,
Yeah.
right, will be premiering during the festival. Horror films, TV show, podcast. I'm going to be working with the Carnegie Hall. I'm going to be in Dr. Anderson's show at Carnegie Hall. I might have 1 or 2 pieces at the Schomburg. So, it's going to be insanely
incredible.
busy time. And you know what? I am loving it.
And I'm sure you are. You should, as you should. These are,
because I know what it's like when it wasn't like that. I remember what it was like. It wasn't that long ago, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But this is the testament of really evolving with your work. This is why we're saying finish. Do your work. Finish. Just finish.
When you finish, you activate opportunity. That's what I tell people. I repeat it over and over again. Trust me, you're taking it from the person that it took me 40 years to understand that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I won't go into what happened in those 40 years.
I feel you.
It wasn't pretty.
I feel you.
When I finally got it, it was like, oh, when I finish something and then I deliver tomorrow, not finish it and leave it on your hard drive.
Right.
Leave it in portfolio. Finish it and put it out.
See it through.
It generates opportunity. Oh, that's how that works. That's it. It's easy. The work is hard sometimes, but the objective is simple.
And it's the person you become again on the way. And this is what, when we're talking about being creative and innovating, it's the person you become, right? Because you're challenged to do different things, to see through a different lens. You have to get out of your own body. You have to. And this is how we evolve, I love that. Okay, so we got a few minutes. So, all right. So Carnegie Hall, because as soon as I saw it last month, and I was like, man, I would love to go. Then I'm like, okay, let's be realistic, Tiff. So,
come on. Some of that stuff is going to be virtual.
Well, it is. I saw a lot of it is going to be hybrid, which I can appreciate because that's where we are in the world.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's where we are in the world. But thinking about how Maddie is a time jumper, how she's, time traveler.
Mm-hmm.
What do you believe? Because logistics, the way we operate in terms of like shipping and, my husband is in logistics. I started out in logistics. I worked for FedEx like when I was very young, and that gave me everything I needed to like, whoa, wait, this is a tight ship. Like this is down to the second, Where do you think she would go? And I don't know if this is giving it away, but where do you think she would go with her container shipping?
That's a fascinating question because the new stuff, and I think it'll go in the first book, the reissue, but there's always a chance because a lot of moving parts of which I can't go into of things that are going to be very, very exciting.
Totally. Yeah.
But I would say that small businesses start with minimal resources and build up over time.
Yeah.
Some are done by solo operators and some are dealing with solo operators who have partnerships.
Yeah.
So that is the reality of what I'm trying to show. That's why it was important to me to be able to show. My wife was like, Tim, I want to see more Maddie.
Yeah.
Like you got an origin story, you got all that. I want to see more Maddie doing what she does. So I created the sequence that it's it's not going to be too serious. We're not going to have a like you used the word. I'm not going to have a granular detail of how she does what she does, but I want you to see it.
Totally, because we're still talking about community, right?
We're talking about community, but we're talking about the paradox of being a minority in both race and gender,
right?
And how you survive even in a speculative environment. How do you come out on the other side of that? But because my graphic novel is a pulp adventure, I'm working to keep it fun and uplifting and funny and ironic. That's the goal.
I love this. I love this for so many reasons, and we're going to wrap up here. But this is one of the reasons why I wanted to talk to you today, because I am dedicated to getting my copy. And I want to talk to you first. Like, okay, Tim, give me some background, and getting my copy and creating yet another session. I've done it with Black Panther already because it's mainstream, right?
Sure.
And I was also doing it, if I'm being in all honesty, for a badging opportunity. So everything is professional development as an educator. So I was looking to get a badge.
Can I stop you?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm saying yes, I'll do it.
Yeah. I got to do a nurturing STEM identity.
That's no problem.
Let's
do it.
Let's do it.
As long as I have time, let's do it. Yes.
Seriously. And this is so, I'm so grateful. I'm not going to tear
up. This
is
just conversations and talking about what we're doing.
It is. And it's for children on purpose.
Sure.
They need to see themselves. They need to see, wait a minute, sure. I'm Maddie.
Right. So I'm going to ask you a question. So you asked me a question.
Okay.
So I have these two characters that are in the sequence, but one of them, I sort of want them to look like a 40s version of you.
Okay.
But I want to use your first name. Do I have permission to do that?
You absolutely have my
Okay, permission. I just need to make sure. So in that case, I need to screen capture this. I just need
Look, shaking a hand.
I need to make sure that I'm like, okay, there we go. I don't know if that worked, but there we go. All right, but I think we're good. You might have to send me a screen capture because this is a PC. I have a big 32-inch Mac. This Cintiq that I use to draw, but then on my 3D stuff is a 29-inch PC. So I don't even draw on paper anymore. I'm all digital.
Nice.
Been that way for decades.
Nice. Absolutely. So Tiffany and brother just asked me this last week. He said, do you know what your name means? I said, absolutely. The manifestation of God. But insight came. Yeah. Insight is my comic character that is forthcoming in the app. And she is a Nasaban diplomat who has been tasked with restoring the balance of messaging in the metaverse.
Wow.
And the children who join her are doing so. And we're all building these capsules because time is non-existent. And so
hold on, are these characters virtual characters or are they real characters who have virtual avatars?
So this is where I'm migrating into with the app. And this is why with me starting to really, really play with tech.
That's a dope idea. You got to do that.
Yeah, I'm on it, Tim. Like you have inspired me. Bsam has inspired me. It's time for me to come out of the pen and paper and to evolve into this insight because that's what it is. I'm just guiding you, baby. You already know what you know. I'm just guiding you. Right. We have to restore the written and heard balance in the metaverse. And we do that with literacy, language, and communication. Oh my gosh, Tim.
So I got 1 minute left. You got to let me make my pitch right quick.
Please.
So infinitum. Yeah. I had in advance. It is nice, but they don't give it out to you all at the same time. It's a job. I got to sell units.
Yeah.
So I need everybody who watches go to harpercollins.com, right?
Mm-hmm.
Buy infinitum. Buy them for yourself. Buy them for your mama, your daddy. Don't get it for the kids. It's a little bit too harsh for the kids. But buy them for your grown cousins, right? Because this is a business.
Yeah.
I'm here to reach as many people as I possibly can.
Totally.
Follow me on Twitter at Dieselfunk, Facebook at Dieselfunk, Instagram at Dieselfunk. right? And I need you guys to do that because that's what I do for a living.
Yep. Yep. There it is. I am so grateful for you taking the time today. I mean, I would stay a little bit longer, but I scheduled another call at 1.
That's good. So that means you got literally no seconds left. All right.
Tim, thank you so much.
Thank
oh my
you,
God.
Thank you for doing it. And you got to send me a screen capture because I'm gonna need your personage to do
Yeah,
that.
absolutely. So I took one and I'm gonna send it to you right now via email.
Okay. Thank you,
Appreciate you. So much love. Have a good weekend.
Bye. Let me do my hand thing. This right here from Dick Williams in the Magic Land out of Memphis, Tennessee.
I still can't do that.
You know what I mean? He can do that. All right. Anyway, you take care, dear.
You too.
Right.
Be
Bye-bye.
good. Bye.